this is Russ. Yeah, this is the first review of the year. Yeah, I have a new bike to show you guys for 2024 in case you're watching this in the future. So take a look at this one. This is the Freedare Eden. Now they have two different models. There's the Eden, which is a step-through design, and then there's the Sega, which is a kind of a mid-step design. So interesting thing about Freedare is they contacted me probably December of 2023. It's currently April 2024. And they asked me if I was interested in their bike, and I was interested. I just couldn't take it simply because winter was coming on. So here it is in April, and we finally have the bike, and we're gonna do this review. So now, as you know, I usually take bikes only that if I have an interest in it. If there's something about it that's a little unique and stands it out, I'll go ahead and do a review about that bike. So I thought the Freedare actually met that requirement, and so here we are with the Freedare. Let me show you real quickly some of the features that the bike has. I had a chance to ride it yesterday for my first ride out, and it did fairly well. Yeah, went over the hill and everything, did really well. So here's the interesting thing about this bike. It's kind of app driven. Well, it's not driven by the app, but it does have an app. So they have their own app here. Let me go ahead and stop my app here right now because I was kind of running it at the time. And let me see if I can get back to the main screen here. I'll end it. So I know it's very difficult to see because the sunlight is really strong right now, but I'll show it to you. Let's do it this way. I'm going to show it to you when I'm inside so you can see the screen better. But I will say this, that the display screen that they have is easily seen even with polarized sunglasses on. So that's not an issue. That's a major thing for me because I've had a couple bikes where you really couldn't see too well the display screen unless you put something like packing tape on a diagonal, and then you can kind of see it. But no, this one's perfectly fine. It is a color display. All right, let me show you the display screen here. Let's get a little closer. This is what the display screen looks like. It's actually a nice looking display. It is actually able to be seen in bright sunlight. So yeah, it's a color display. It's got everything from trip meters, whatever type of pedal assist you have, so you can change that. Starts at 0, works its way up to 3, and then this is how many miles I've ridden so far, 23 miles at this point. And as you're moving the bike, let me see if I can. So I'm just hitting the throttle. You can see we're going quite fast. So yeah. All of that is actually captured here on the app as well. So if I come here and I just turn on the bike here and I hit the word go, all of the stuff that was here is duplicated here. But you also have a compass right around here. It tells you what direction you're going. Your speedometer's here. The same thing. The number 3 is here. You can control things here too. You can basically tell it. Well, let's see. If you hit start, right, that means you're starting a new ride, and you can control things as well here. So if I hit 2, you'll see that that's changed over here. If I hit on the app here, I hit 1, it's now assist level 1. So I mean, you could go through here, but why would anyone do that? I would tend to think you would probably use your pedal assist control pad here to do that. So you do have, again, indications for, what your maximum speeds were, how long were your ride times, how far did you ride on that ride. You can turn on and off the light as well. So here you can see I turned the light on. You'll see it right over there on the wall. I can turn it off from the app, turn it on from the app, turn it off. So you have the ability to control it from the app. Okay. You could also do other stuff here. You can set up things like sport mode, normal mode. There's a lot of different modes you can set it for. I had it set for sports mode, so It's now set up for the sport mode so that when I'm riding, I have the full maximum 28 miles per hour if I want to. All right. So also they have a thing here that says meter, but you can also hit map. I'm not going to do that too because that shows you where I'm at. But that's where you can actually see your current location. You have other options too. Let me get out of this. I'm just going to end that. Find my bike. It'll tell you exactly where your bike is located. And I can't do that again because that'll tell you where I'm at. And bike detection will tell you where the bike is located if it's been taken. So that's kind of nice. All right. So there's a lot of functions on the app that's controllable to the bike. You can turn on and off your bike as well. So if I hit lock, you'll see here, once it locks, it shuts the bike down. And you can unlock it here too. So I'll make sure it's on, hit unlock. And if you wait a second, you'll see that that'll turn itself on. There you go. Now, even though you lock this, that doesn't mean someone can't come over here and turn it on and off, if they're messing with your bike. So it's not that they can't steal your bike, because they can. They can ride it too. It's just that the app allows you to turn on and off the bike. So not truly 100% where, some folks have said that, they can't steal this bike. Yeah, they can still steal the bike. The only thing this is going to do is it's going to tell you when someone's messing with it, and it's going to tell you where it's located. As long as they haven't pulled the battery out of the bike, it'll still send a signal off to you and tell you exactly where your bike is located at. So that's really what it's going to do. So the bike itself is set up stock except for a couple of items. So I put on a side view mirror as I usually do. I took the control panel here and moved it from here and moved it forward so I can put these extra things on. Now, one thing it does not have, it doesn't come with a bell. All right, so my suggestion to Freedare is get a bell. Get one like this if you can. This is a very low profile. It doesn't take a lot of space. Yeah, get something like this. It cost me like $1.74 or something like that. These are not very expensive bells, but you're gonna need a bell because it doesn't come with one. So I added the side view mirror, the bell, and a cell phone mount, so I can put my cell phone here for you. All right. Well, since we're already here, let's talk about these other things. It does have a thumb throttle, which is standard with it. What I do like, it has locking hand grips. So there's screws here. So this thing doesn't spin when you're using it, all right? Some of these hand grips, they do spin. It is rubberized. Feels really good. I really like it. The standard Shimano 7-speed SIS shifter is here. They have very good cable management. I did make a modification though. The cable management was actually put all the way across. I actually cut it and separated it into two individual pieces. And the reason I did that is because the included front basket was kind of rubbing up against the cable management. So separating it made it easier. Okay, I put my keys here. People always ask why I have my keys hanging. I never leave my bike, so it doesn't matter. And since I have so many different bikes to keep track of, it's just easier for me to leave the keys on the bike itself. But of course, if I'm leaving somewhere and I'm locking the bike up, I would take that with me. It does come with Tektro hydraulic brakes, which is really nice. We see this in a lot of bikes that are of higher quality. The rotors are 160 millimeter rotors on front and back. And there is a suspension front seat. Suspension front tube. I was gonna say seat post. Suspension front tube on the front fork. Okay, so that's kind of nice. There's also, of course, front headlight, and this is actually driven by light. If it's dark, the light will kick in automatically. You can, of course, manually turn it on as well. Included in this is the front basket and also the rear rack. Now, the interesting thing about the bike, it does not have a rear light that is connected to the system. So although you do have a rear tail light, it is battery driven. It is not connected to the main system, which means if you pull on the brakes, that's not going to light up. And of course, you'll have to charge the batteries. So I think for future iterations, I would like to see this connected to the bike. All right. The derailleur is Shimano. It's a Shimano tourney derailleur. And of course, the gears are from Shimano as well. It is a Bafang motor. I don't know if you can see. I'm going to see if I can angle a little bit, but that is a Bafang motor there. Bafang is very well known as one of the nicer motors. 26-inch by 4-inch fat tires made by Kenda. Kenda, of course, being one of the better brands out there. Now the bike itself is very heavy duty looking. Yeah, it's built very well. Although this is a step-through design, you'll notice over here, this does raise up a bit. And the reason for that is because that gives you more rigidity there, but that means the step over height is a little higher. The battery is integrated. So this is a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery. So you've got a lot of battery there to keep moving forward, okay? All right, what else could I mention here? The saddle, your typical saddle. This is an SR saddle. I've seen this brand on other bikes before. It's okay. It's not bad. Not super cushy, but there's some cush to it. For me personally, I probably would replace it. And also the seat posts. You can notice here too, I am about an inch higher than the minimum insertion height. And that's because at the minimum insertion height, I don't get the full leg extension that I prefer. Now, that's not a real big deal. You can always buy another seat post. I took a look on Amazon to find out how much seat posts cost. And I saw prices of just the posts themselves for about $10 roughly. But then you don't have this thing that connects to the saddle. So the ones with this section here, they're probably about $18 to $20, $22, something like that. So you might be able to find one that fits you better if you're a taller rider. It is a 30.4 millimeter seat post that you need. Okay, it's of course quick release. Front tire is not quick release. It is a through axle. I personally prefer the through axle. They can't steal your axle, can't steal your bike's front tire very easily unless they have wrenches to do it. Plus, I always kind of thought that the through axle design is actually stronger too. Pedals do not have the little spiky things. They're kind of rubberized here. Still works. It's perfectly fine. These are also, I think they're made by Welgo as well, which is a brand we see a lot. Now, some of the advanced features of the bike allow you to do certain things on there. We'll talk a little bit about it as we ride it a little bit. But overall, the ride is very good. Yeah, I like it. So that's what's included. Oh, price, $17.99. They have a sale price right now at $15.99. The step over version is at $14.99, but the step over version does not include the rear rack, and it does not include the front basket. You can buy those, and it doesn't include the fenders. This includes everything here. The fenders are plastic. You can buy those. I think it adds about $100 to the bike. So if you have the step over Sega version, you're looking at about $100 less expensive than this bike currently on sale. I think it's like $14.99. If you add all those features, it becomes $15.99, which essentially is the same sale price as this bike with everything on it. So essentially the two bikes cost the same if you spec out everything with the same options on there. But again, these things that you see here comes with the bike, so that's a good thing. Now let me see if we get on this angle here. This is not a height adjustable one, but I find it's actually very good anyways. It's not so bad as I'm riding, because if you take a look at the handlebar, it's not a straight handlebar. It kind of curves towards you, okay? And because of that, you're not reaching forward as much. You're not having to go forward. It's closer to you. I actually like it a lot. I didn't think I would, but I actually do. All right, so that's I think the overview of the bike. Pretty much covers most of it. I'll put more specifications that you can read that I'm sure I'm missing. Things like I think the weight of the bike is like 84.3 pounds, something like that with the battery. But yeah, the torque of the motor is 80 Newton meters. It is a 750 watt motor that peaks out at 1,000. All right, let's give it a ride and see how it goes. All right, let's take this for a ride. Now, another interesting thing is this is a torque censored bike. This is not a cadence sensor bike, which means the more effort you put into the pedaling, the more your bike will respond as well. Now the pedal assist that you see over here, see if I angle my camera there, there's a plus and minus button here. It goes from 0 through 3. That's a little different than some of the other things that we've seen before in the past. Yeah, usually we see 5 levels, but I think on a torque sensor bike, 3 is actually fine, because it's really kind of based on how well you actually pedal, if you pedal harder. So I think 3 is perfectly fine to do. I've gotten used to that. So, you know, a lot of times on my cadence sensor bikes, I'll put 9 levels, so I can pick middle speeds and the like. But on a torque sensor bike, that doesn't really matter so much. If you don't want to go fast, don't pedal as hard. You want to go faster, pedal harder. And of course, you do have 7 levels of gears here. So with your gears and your 3 levels of pedal assist, that's plenty. Now, an interesting thing is on the app, there are different modes. There's like an eco mode, I don't know what they call it, basic, eco or something, and sport. I have it in sport mode right now, which is essentially means that it's going to give me the most power if I want it, okay? So you have your throttle to use, you have your torque sensor pedaling to use. Let's get through some of this muddy area. It did rain several days before, but yesterday when we had the total eclipse of the sun in the Chicago area, we didn't really see that, but it did get a little darker, yeah, when it happened. So that was interesting during my first ride with the bike. I'm trying my best to stay within about 15 miles an hour on this path. We'll go faster when we get out on the street. It is rated as a class 3 style bike in the sense that if you pedal it, it'll go to 28 miles per hour. But the interesting part is if you throttle it, it'll also go to 28 miles per hour. We see this on many bikes, although pure class 3 would mean that the only pedaling should bring you to 28, and then throttling should only bring you to 20. But this one does 28 on both. Now the interesting thing about the bike is because since there is an app, which I have running with me, I don't know if you can see that, the speedometer shows the same thing that you see on the display screen. So you kind of think about it and you go, well, why would I even want it on then? Well, it tracks a bunch of things. There's actually a calorie counter too. So it'll kind of estimate what they think that you've used in calories based on how you've been pedaling. There's a map on here too, with a compass. Yeah. And another interesting thing is if you let's hit the button here. Hold on. Make sure the car stopped for me. There you go. I wanted to hit him with the bell just in case. Yeah, the other thing that's interesting is if this is on, you get all these advanced functions. You can see what your battery is. There is a system on here that will track your bike. If someone were to take your bike, it will, if they move your bike, I should say, if they move your bike, it'll send a signal to your phone, and it'll essentially say somebody's moving your bike. Thank you. Now, here's an interesting thing that I find. Okay, people always wonder, does it really work? Yeah, it really works. Okay, I've had it where it's been sitting inside the house, and then I have my Roomba, which is your automated vacuum thing. It'll automatically kick in, and it's just vacuuming while I'm not at home. Bumps into the bike, sets it off, sends me a signal, and I'm miles and miles away. So yes, it does work. Dogs are always trying to get me. It does work. But here's the thing with this sensor on the bike. It's very sensitive. I've noticed that even if I have it just sitting in the house and I walk past it, and if you walk a little heavily and you jar the floor a little bit, it sets the sensor off. Yeah, I'll get a signal for that. So well, here's another suggestion to Freedare in the future I'd like to see is maybe an adjustability of sensitivity of that sensor that's on the bike. Because I think it would be bad if if it's out there and very heavy winds, you've tied the bike up somewhere with the lock, heavy winds push it, and then you get a signal that someone's messing with your bike. But in reality, it could be just the wind. So that's another suggestion to make this bike a little bit better, but at least it has some type of thing to do that. They call it an anti-theft. I'm not convinced it's really anti-theft. If somebody wants to steal your bike, they can still steal it. They can still turn on the bike without the app. You can turn the bike on with the app though. You should realize that. In fact, you can control a lot of things with the app. It controls the type of ride that you want. Like I said, I have it set up on sports mode. That's all controlled by the app, all right? So you kind of need the app to be able to control more on the bike than just what the standard things you can do on the pedal assist controller, like other bikes would have. All right, we're gonna do our hill test here. This is usually where I go. I did it yesterday, did really good. So I'm fully expecting it will do well too. So what we do is we stop at this bridge, at the base of this bridge. We'll stop as much as we can without falling off. Let's put it like that. Okay, and then we're just gonna throttle, all right? Now, I'm not gonna pedal or anything like that. I do have on pedal assist level 3, which means the throttle will go as fast as it could possibly go. It is gonna go up in speed and then it'll start slowing down. So we'll take a look at it on the video when I finally get it. We'll see how it really does. But right now, from what I'm seeing, it's 17.16, 15, 15.0. That's what I see. I'll confirm it again when I take a look at the video later for editing. But 15.0 puts it at right almost matching the top contender that we've ever had for e-bikes. That's pretty good. I think the top contender only beat it by 0.2 miles an hour faster. So essentially, yeah, they're just equally as good. It's 80 Newton meter torque on this motor. So very capable, very capable. I think a lot of people are always interested. Now, if you were to pedal it, you would go a lot faster over the hill. And some of these bikes, because maybe the torque is not as good, some of the bikes can only go over it at about 6 miles an hour, 7 miles, 8 miles an hour. This one's doing 15.0. It's pretty good. So as far as riding feel, I think if you replace the saddle, it would feel really good. Saddle's okay, it's not bad, but the thing is with a lot of manufacturers, they don't know what you're really gonna like for a saddle, so they kind of put what they think would be acceptable to get you going, but pretty much everybody changes out the saddle to the type that they like best anyway. So yeah, I would change it out, or even consider a suspension seat post, with the saddle, something like that. Yeah, you could add a lot of stuff to your bike. You could always make a bike better if you wanted to, right? But I think for the price that they have it for $15.99 on sale currently, that's a pretty good deal for this bike. It's got plenty of power. It's got some advanced functions. It's got a torque sensor. It's got plenty of torque going over hills. It's got an app. The app will tell you if somebody's messing with your bike. Now, here's the thing with the app. It'll send it to you really quick, all right? If the alarm thing goes off on your phone, it'll, by a phone call essentially, it'll text you saying your bike has been moved. But it'll take it another 10 minutes before it'll send another one. So you have to kind of react to that one, otherwise you won't get another call until now 10 minutes later. By that time, your bike could be gone, all right? Because as we know, thieves can cut through chains and locks pretty easily. So if you get a signal, you have to react. Now it also has the ability to find the bike's location, right? Because it's got a GPS function in there. So wherever your bike is located at, It'll tell you where it's at. Kind of cool. Lean over here. There's a map function on there too, so you can kind of see where you're. I'm gonna wait for this thing. I'm not gonna go through. It's about ready to stop. Well, I'm gonna edit at this point. I'm not gonna have you waiting through the stoplight with me. We'll talk more when we get to the other side of the road. Okay, I'm back. Had to wait a while to get through that intersection. Yeah, there's actually a map function on here too. Let me see if I can do that here. And go down a little bit. Can you guys see that? So it actually tell you where you're at, or it can go back into its standard mode. Yeah, the ride is actually really good. It feels good. It's fast. Like I said, it will go up to 28 miles per hour. I was able to get it to 28 miles an hour yesterday. Right now we're fighting a headwind, so obviously that's going to slow us down a bit. So is everything perfect on this bike? No. I don't think every bike has its little things I think could be improved. So here's a couple of things that I feel that could be improved on a bike. First off, front basket, okay? Front basket's included, rear racket's included, but the front basket has no bottom. Yeah, it's kind of clear. It's got a couple of bars across it on the bottom, but you know, if you put anything there, it's gonna fall right through it. Some baskets from other companies have like a wooden bottom to it. I think I'd like to see something like that. If you don't have one, you'll have to fashion something if you want to carry anything that might fall through that basket. It's also not very deep either. It's kind of shallow. But at least they include one. I mean, that's better than not, right? But it could be a little better. See, I mean, everything could be a tad better here and there, but you know, it's not going to kill you. You could deal with it. Battery seems quite long. I rode, I think, about 13 miles yesterday, and I was down maybe 66% of the battery was still available, something like that. You could set up the battery on the top here to percentage or by voltage. Some people like it by voltage. I currently have it set for percentage. I think that's how it defaults to. We're currently at about 87%. I've been throttling a lot. I've also been pedaling as well. I'm pedaling right now. The torque sensor is actually pretty nice on this one. You can definitely feel it kick in once you start pedaling. If you pedal harder, it will speed up. So the motor will help you more as you pedal harder. All right, let's get through this intersection here first. This is a tough intersection. I've always said that they really need a light or something here. To go after this car. If we're lucky, we can make it. There we go. That's a tough intersection. They really need some type of crossing over there. The brakes are good. They're Tektro hydraulic brakes. The 160 millimeter rotors seem to work fine. Cable management is good, but again, like I said, I split it. I put some on one side of the basket and the other on the other side. It makes it a little bit easier, I think, once the basket's on there. I do like the fact that this particular model includes the plastic fenders. I prefer the plastic fenders, yeah, because you know when pebbles and stuff hit it, it doesn't go ping. You know it deals with it pretty well. You would definitely want to put a bell on this bike. Another thing the Freedare can do maybe in the future is include a bell. Otherwise it will ask the buyers to buy a bell. Yesterday I did not have my bell on there. I didn't realize it didn't have a bell until I needed it, and I go, oh, there's no bell. So I put on the one I usually put on most of my bikes. So little things, right? Here's another thing that's interesting. It is the best packed bike I have ever seen for shipping. I'm not kidding. It is the best I have ever seen for shipping. It is packed so well. I'll throw a couple photos up here so you can see it. they may not pack it like this in the future. The packaging, it makes it very big, and so UPS and FedEx cannot take the bike. So they had to ship it by truck line, with a furniture truck line. The nice part about it though is that that company called me to make arrangements of the day that they will deliver, and also they called me a little bit before they were able to deliver, but they did give me a time frame of 4 hours, and they made it within that 4-hour time window. So that was good. But I asked Freedare whether they were planning to do that going forward, and they says, well, we're probably going to try to streamline the boxing so it'll fit FedEx and UPS. So you may not see it in the future, but they said for now, as long as there's inventory, they will be putting it that way. So if you want really good packaging, you want to get one as soon as you can. Hey, if you're interested in this bike too, I do have an affiliate link that is in the description of the video. I appreciate it if you make your order from that. That helps me out a little bit, helps the channel out. All right, let's do a little pedaling here. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I will say that the bell on this is pretty good. It's pretty loud. Now, there is a 15-mile-an-hour limit on this path. I've been going like 19 and 20. So I'll slow down a little bit, try to stay within the rules here. You know, sometimes it's hard to do that. If you hit 15, I mean, you just go a little bit, or if you go downhill a little bit, it speeds up by itself, you know. So it's kind of hard to do that. So what's my overall impression of the bike? Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Especially at the sale price right now, $15.99. I think they give you a lot for the money. Yeah. We didn't have features like this back when I first started getting e-bikes years ago. It costs you more money. It doesn't even have half the features that this thing has. I think value-wise, it's very hard to beat nowadays with what's coming out on the market. Sometimes people are walking and messing with their phones. They don't realize they're on our side of the lane. So yeah, overall, I like the bike. I think they have a good future ahead of them if they continue making bikes like this. Yeah, make some modifications, Freedare. You know, consider the suggestions that I offered. You know, trying to make that that sensitivity something that's variable, something that people can set. You know, more sensitive, less sensitive, that type of thing. I think that would be helpful. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Use the affiliate link in the description of my video. That helps out the channel. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys next time.